Yeah, that's done. Okay, how's everybody? Haribol?
Good, thank you,
Good, thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Very well, thank you.
Today we have another husband and wife team for the recitation. Shabani Mataji and Garish Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, wonderful. So, right, let me just share the screen and we can begin whenever you're ready. Okay. Okay, you can start whenever you're ready.
Humble obeisances to all the devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 11, verse 28. यथा नादीनां भवो मुगुवेगा समुद्रम् इवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवामि नरलोकवीरा विशान्ति वक्त्राणि अभिविदन्ति.
As the many of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths.
Verse 29. यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतंगा विशान्ति नाश्या स्मृधवेगा तथैव नाश्या विशान्ति लोकास्तया तयापि वक्राणि स्मृधवेगा.
I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire.
Verse 30. Delhiyase gram samana samantal lokan samagran vadner juladbhi tejo bhirapurya jagat samagram bhasastavo graha pratapatanti Vishnu.
O Vishnu, I see you are devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays.
Verse 31. Akhyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupo namostute deva vara prasida vijna tumechami bhavantadyam nahi prajnami tava parvartim.
O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Verse 32. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kalosmi Lokashya Krit Pravardho Lokan Smahartum Iha Pravarta Ritipi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Yeva Stita Pratyunike Suyodaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
Verse 33. Tasmat tvam utistayasho labhasva jitva strunbhun skvarajyam smardham maye vete nihataha purvam eva nimitta matram bhavasavyasatin.
Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. And you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight.
Verse 34. द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णां तथान्यान् अपि योधवीरान् मया हतांस्तमं जहिमा व्यथिस्ता यदुस्वाजेतासि रणे सपन्तान्.
Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle.
Verse 35. Sanjaya uvacha itacharutva vachanam keshvasya kritanjalirvepamana kiriti namaskritva bhuya ivaha krishnam sagada gadam bhita bhitaha prananmaya.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a flattering voice as follows.
Verse 36. Arjuna uvacha sthane rikesha tava prakritya jagat prahasyati anurjate cha rakshamsi bhitani disho dravanti sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha.
Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyfully upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done.
Verse 37. Kasmachatena nameran mahatman garye se brahmano adhikartare ananta deve shajagan nivasa tvam akshram sad asattat param yat.
O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation.
Verse 38. Tvam adi deva purusaha puranas tvam asya vishvasya param nidhanam vetasi vedyam cha param cha dhama tvaya tatam vishvam ananta rupa.
You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate century of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you.
Verse 39. Vayuryamognir varuna shashankaha प्रजापतिस्त्वां प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्ते सुतुप्सः सकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते.
You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and yet again.
Verse 40. Namah purastad atha prasthaste namostute sarvata eva sarva ananta viryamita vikramastavam sarvam sapunosi tatosi sarvaha.
Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything.
Verse 41 and 42. Sakheti matva prasabham yatuktam he Krishna he Yadva he Sakheti अजानता महिमानं ते वदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्च चबाहस्तम् अस्त्कृतोऽसि विहारसयस्न भोजनेषु एकोऽथव्यापि च्युत तत्समक्षं तत्कस्मये त्वम् अहम् अप्रमेयम्.
Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone, and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses.
Verse 43. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvam asya pujascha gurguriyam natvasmosti abhyadhikaha kutonyo lokatrayepi apratima prabhava.
You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipful chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power?
Verse 44. Tasmat pranmaya pranadhiya kayam prasadyaye tvam aham isam idyam piteva putrasya sukheva sakhyo priya priyarahasi deva sodham.
You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife. Please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you.
Verse 45. Adrista purvam ristosmi dristva bhayena cha pravyatyatam mano me tadeva me drashya deva rupam prashida deva shajagan nivasa.
After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe.
Verse 46. Kirtinam gadinam chakrahastam ichami tvam drustam aham tatheva teneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasabhavo bhava vishvamurte.
O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and the lotus flowers in your hands. I long to see you in that form.
Verse 47. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Maya prashane natvarjun devam nedam rupam param drishtam atma yogat tejo mayam vishwamanantaadyam yanme tvad anyena nadrishta purvam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you, by my internal potency, this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence.
Verse 48. Na veda yajna dhyanir na danir na chakriyabhir na tapobhir ugrahe evam rupa shakyaham narloke drishtum tvad anyena kuru pravira.
O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world.
Verse 49. Mate vyatha cha vimudha bhavo drishtva rupam ghoram idmamedam vyapeta viprita manha punastvam tad eva me rupamidam prapashya.
You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire.
Verse 50. Sanjaya uvacha iti arjunam vasudeva tathoktva swakam rupam drishyam asabhuya ashvayam asacha bhitam menam bhutva punah somya vapur mahatma.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna.
Verse 51. Arjuna uvacha dristveda manusham rupam tva somyam janardena idanim asmi smarvitaha sacheta prakritim gataha.
When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and I am restored to my original nature.
Verse 52. Shri Bhagavan uvacha sudurdarsham idam rupam drishtvan asiyan mama devapiyasya rupasya nityam darshana kanaksinaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are even seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear.
Verse 53. Naham veder na tapasha na danima channa chejaya shakya evam vedho drishtum drishtvan asimam yatha.
The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am.
Verse 54. Bhaktya tvanayaya shakya aham evam vidho arjuna janatum drishtum cha tatvena pravestum cha parantapa.
My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Verse 55. Matka makrinmato pramo parmo madbhaktaha sangha varijitaha nirveraha sarva bhutesu yasa mam iti pandava.
My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyanam Yog Shastre Shri Karshi Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarup Darshan Yogo Nama Eko Dasho Adhyayaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Prabhu's very, very nice pronunciation was excellent. So that's I can see you've been practicing, and that is the only way. These verses we can only sort of get them perfected by practice. So I can see Girish Prabhu has put in a lot of practice because your pronunciation was very, very nice. Thank you. And Shabani Mataji, of course, very fluent English. Thank you so much for both of you.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let me just close that. Okay. So, right, we are continuing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11. Summary so far. Text 1 to 8, Arjun's request and Krishna's description of his universal form. From 9 to 31, Sanjay is describing what Arjun is seeing, and Sanjay is describing that to Dhritarashtra. And 32 to 34, a mini section where Krishna is saying, I am time, please become my instrument. And this current section, 35 to 46, is actually Arjuna's prayers. In text 35, which Madhu Kumari did yesterday, basically Sanjay announces to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna is now about to start his prayers. And now from this verse, today's verse, the prayers will start. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text 36. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Arjuna Uvacha. Sthane Rishikesh Tava Prakirta Kirtya Jagat Prahishya Tyanurajyate Cha Prakshansi Pitani Disho Dravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha. Arjun said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. We'll come back to the text after the purport, but let's just read the purport. Can somebody unmute and read the purport, please?
Can I do this?
Yes, Vishali Mataji, you
Hare
can do it.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Navneet is doing it.
Okay, who is doing it? Sorry.
Navneet.
Namni Prabhu. Okay, Namni Prabhu, great. Go for it.
Arjun, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjun confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjun understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded in outer space, there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsias of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjun saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjun. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu Namni Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll just go back to the verse just to see if there's some things to discuss. So yes, Rishikesha, master of the senses. So particularly Krishna, whenever Arjun addresses Krishna with particular names, there's always some meaning behind that. So here he's addressing him as the master of the senses. Rishikesha is two words, a sandhi of two words. Rishika means senses, and Isha, of course, means Ishwar, or master. So Rishikesha is a master of the senses, because here it's talking about how Krishna, just by hearing Krishna's name, everyone becomes joyful. He gives joy to people's senses. So Rishikesha. The other thing that just regarding pronunciations, there's two words here. Prahishyati, is a difficult one. Prahishyati and Anurajyate. So if we pronounce this separately, we would be prahishyati, prahishvati, and Anurajyate. But when we rhyme it, then the Y and the A go together, and then it becomes prahishatya nurajyate, like that. And I think Namni Prabhu actually did it properly. He was joining the Y's and the A's. It's quite good. And sthane. So sthane, sometimes actually, mostly sthane, the word sthan means your place. In this particular context, sthane means it is the right thing, it's the proper thing that's happening. That is what Arjuna is saying. All that is rightly done here at the end, he says. So all that is rightly done, that refers to sthane. So these are the two things I wanted to just highlight. As usual, go to the main points. So the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. So the name, the Lord's name and the Lord himself, there is no difference. This is why when we chant the Lord's name, it is so potent. It does something to our Atma when we're chanting the Lord's name, because the Lord has appeared in his name in Kali Yuga. So there's a particular verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which talks about this. Does anybody know that verse? How the Lord has appeared in Kali Yuga in his name? Adi Lila 17:22. Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagata Nistar. Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagata Nistar. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. So such a powerful message Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us. So when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is none different than Krishna. Prabhupada used to say that when we are chanting the holy name, Krishna is actually dancing on our tongues. So this is why we need to keep these things in mind, so that when we are chanting, we don't let our mind drift, because we have the habit of letting the mind go and then just mechanically chanting. But if you remember these things about Krishna, then we will be more watchful. So this is the formula in the Kali Yuga. People want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. The spirit soul naturally wants to be happy, because that is the constitutional position of the soul. The soul is naturally very, very, very happy. But in the material world, the happiness is lost. Bliss is only available in the spiritual world. The soul is searching for bliss in the wrong place. So this is why. But for the soul to be joyful, this is the formula. We hear Krishna's names, chant and hear. So if somebody else is in a Kirtan situation, somebody leads and we follow. So he is chanting, we are following. So we are hearing as well as chanting. But privately, we chant to ourselves and we chant loudly. We chant so that it's audible. Many mantras, as you know, some people chant and they chant in the mind. They're just turning the mala and they're chanting in their mind, or even whispering. But Mahamantra is to be chanted loudly. Prabhupada used to say, you got to chant loudly, but not too loudly so it disturbs people around you. Chant loudly enough, but you can hear, and also some people around you can hear softly. Because when other people hear, they are benefited. So what to speak of other people? Even animals, when they hear, they're benefited. Here you can see this picture. What is this picture depicting? Anybody know?
It's in Jharkhand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going through, and
Yes.
all the animals were joining the Mahakirtan.
Thank you so much, Palika Mataji. Yes. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally, like 3 times twice he attempted to go to Vrindavan, and for whatever reasons he couldn't go. This is the 3rd time that he is successful. He's on his way to Vrindavan, and he begins to chant in the middle of, as he's always chanting, middle of the jungle, he's chanting, and you can see the animals started to chant and dance. And you can see the tigers hugging the deer. So, subtly the love overflowed in the animals as well, just by hearing the Mahamantra. Right? And you can see in the background there, Mahaprabhu's assistant, his name was Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He was the only one who was accompanying Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu didn't want anybody. He says, if people will disturb me, I want to go alone. But people convinced him that please take one person with you so he can be some help. So there, him chanting, the animals started to dance. So we must again believe in this, and when we chant, we can chant. And if you're chanting, for example, in your garden, any insects, even within the house, any insects, any spiders there may be, they will hear and they will benefit. There's no doubt about it. They will benefit. So this is the Mahamantra. And here Arjuna is saying that just by hearing your name, everybody becomes joyful and becomes attached, because we come closer to Krishna by chanting his names. So many people ask, people who come new to Krishna consciousness, to ISKCON, they always say, why just the Mahamantra? You people are always just chanting Mahamantra and nothing else. So of course we have lots of bhajans also we sing. These are the beautiful bhajans compiled by the Goswamis. But the mantra for us is the main mantra. This is our only mantra. And sometimes people question why only Mahamantra. So the reason is this. There's a verse in the Kali Santaran Upanishad. Does anybody know this verse? This is the verse talking about the Mahamantra.
Hare Nama Kevalam. Is that one?
That's the one. Do you know the rest of it? Yeah, it's on the screen.
Kalo nasti vannetha.
Okay, yeah, no, sorry. So that one's also valid, because it says in the age of Kali, this is the only mantra that is valid. But here in the Kali Santaran Upanishad, it says Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shodasakam Nam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nata Para Taropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. So Kali Santaran Upanishad declares that these 16 names of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, destroy all the inauspiciousness of the age of Kali. This is the conclusion of all the Vedas. So this is why we chant this, because as it says here, in the age of Kali, all the other mantras, they don't have as much power as this mantra. So this is why we don't need to chant any other mantra. We just simply chant this mantra. And the beauty about the Hare Krishna mantra is that it's pure name. Name. Other mantras have something else with it. For example, if you say, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. So Shri Krishna is Krishna's name. Then Sharanam Mama, that's a prayer, saying, please accept me at your, give me shelter, or accept me at your lotus feet. But here, it is pure name, Nam, and Nam, nothing else. Hare refers to Radharani. Krishna, of course, refers to Lord Krishna. And Rama refers to Lord Rama. Or depending on your mood, it could be Balaram, or Parshuram, or Krishna himself, who is also known as Rama. So it's Nam. This is why it is so powerful. And this is why it is the Maha Mantra. So 2 verses in the 12th canto, 3rd chapter, 51 and 52, which again talks about the Nam and its effect in Kali Yuga. Anybody know this verse? Kale doshanide rajam asti heko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vajet. My dear king, so obviously Shukadeva Goswami is talking to Parikshit Raja. Although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, so here you can see Kali Yuga, ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Which is that quality? Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Next verse. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu tretayam yajato makhay dvapare paricharyayam kalau tattari kirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, in Dwapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the power of this Maha Mantra, and this is why we insist that this is the only mantra that is valid in this Yuga. As it says in this verse, Satya Yuga, in different ages, there are different methods of connecting with the Lord or getting a release from the bondage of material nature. In Satya Yuga, meditation on Lord Vishnu was the main process. But they were much more powerful than us, the people in Satya Yuga. They lived a lot longer than us. So they could do meditation for many, many years, and that was the process. The process in Treta Yuga, as the ages deplete, go lower, the age, the Ayusha decreases, and so does the Shakti. So in Treta Yuga, they could no longer do the meditation that was possible in Satya Yuga. So for them, the Lord allowed performing sacrifices. So the Treta Yuga sacrifices that we read about in the Bhagavatam, they are sacrifices, the havans they used to do were massive. As we know, Arjun and the Pandava brothers had to go all over the world to collect Lakshmi for Yudhishthira Maharaj to do his yagya. So those kind of yagyas we can't do anymore. In Treta Yuga, they could do it. Now Dwapara came. Dwapara, they become even shorter-lived. And then they couldn't even do the sacrifices. So then the Lord, just by worshipping the deity in the temple, that was enough. Then came Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, our age is so short now that we can't do any of the previous things. We don't even have the focus that is needed for deity worship, to be very honest. And then Kali Yuga, Krishna gives us the biggest concession. You don't need to do anything else, simply chant the Maha Mantra, and that is your passport to go back home. So fortunate. In one way, this age is the most degraded, but at the same time, it is the most easy for us to connect back to the Lord. So then the holy names are so powerful that whoever hears them becomes purified and makes spiritual advancement. So you can see, this is why we have this, the process of going on Harinam. Every Saturday you will have devotees in central London chanting Harinam. In every major city of the world. Of course, now is lockdown, so we don't do it now, but before and after lockdown, this is always the case. The reason we do this is so that everybody can hear the name of the Lord. Right? So in this verse, in Bhagavatam, beautiful verse, the 3rd canto 33:6, Yannam Deya Shravananu Kirtanat Yat Pravanad Yat Smaranad Api Kvachit Swadopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpate Kuta Punaste Bhagavan Darshana. Here, to say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Lord, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers his obeisances, or even remembers him. So even once, if you chant the name of the Lord, this is the kind of benefit that we get. The people who are the lowest born in families of dog eaters, you know, we have Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and then Sudras. But then below Sudras are many, many layers where these people don't even qualify as human beings, dog eaters. They become eligible just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And going back to the Sankirtan here, why we don't go out and chant? Because people who hear, you can see here in this particular picture, you have these ladies, they're like tourists, they seem to be, obviously they're not devotees the way they are dressed, but they are dancing. They're dancing, and obviously they don't know what they're chanting, but they're chanting something. But the fact that the holy name is falling on their ears and they're participating, they don't know how much Sukriti they're getting. It's called Agnata Sukriti. You know, unknown to them, they're getting Sukriti. They do not know how much they're going to benefit, if not in this lifetime, but future lifetime. These ladies will come back and become devotees at some point, maybe even in this lifetime. So this is the huge benefit. What to speak of living entities outside, like people outside, animals outside we spoke about, even trees and plants here, and they get benefit. But apart from that, even within our body, you know, there was an article that I read a little while ago in the Discover magazine, and there it says that we share our body, with 90 trillion or so microbes. So each microbe is a living entity. So imagine there's 90 trillion microbes in our body. So when we are chanting, the sound vibration that's going to our body is benefiting all these 90 trillion microbes that are living inside our body. Even on our skin, we have microbes. We have inside the body, inside our guts, everywhere. So all these living entities there that are harmoniously living with us, they are also benefiting. So when I read this, I was thinking, okay, next time I stand up in the temple room to start to dance to the Maha Mantra, to the Kirtan, then I will have to remember that I'm not dancing alone. There's 90 trillion living entities dancing with me within my own body. This is fascinating, isn't it? Then Arjuna is saying, Krishna, everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for devotees and destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally all good. So Krishna's benedictions to his devotees, or killing or punishing the miscreants, is all the same. Krishna is absolute, and so his actions are absolute. There is no duality. So whether he's giving a boon to a devotee or whether he's killing a miscreant, it's all good, because the miscreants, they also get delivered. We all know from the pastimes of all the demons that Krishna killed, we know that they all got delivered. Anybody recognize this picture? Maybe it's a bit too small.
This Shishupal.
Yes, thank you, Balika
Thank
Mataji.
you,
Yes.
very quickly.
So you can see Shishupal, and what happens to him after his head gets after he gets beheaded?
He goes to the Lord.
Yes,
He goes
Pramila.
in Krishna's body.
Yes, exactly. People actually in the assembly, they actually saw some kind of a light leave from Shishupal's body and enter into Krishna's body.
Yeah.
So he got mukti, which is called Sayuja Mukti.
Rajan.
So this is how the benefits. So like this, all demons killed are given some kind of mukti. Depending on okay, generally speaking, they get Sayuja Mukti, but also depends on the demon. For example, if the demon has come just to perform a pastime for Krishna from a particular place, then he goes back to his place, like that. So it's like different things. And here's Trinip. Who is this? Which demon is getting delivered here?
Trinivarta,
Nivarta, thank you. And over here,
Yeah.
Putana,
Putana, thank you. Over here,
Who is it?
it's a donkey.
Oh,
Dhenukasura.
Sorry, this was a donkey. This was.
This is Dhenukasura and this is
The bull was Arishtasura.
Arishtasura. Yeah.
So all these demons, and then a lot more that we can name, they all got delivered. So this is the amazing thing with Krishna. He says here, Krishna, whether he's punishing or giving boons, is the same. So Krishna, when he's punishing, it is for the good of the demon. Similarly, when a teacher, for example, a teacher in a typical class, a teacher will praise and encourage good students, and he would chastise and punish the lazy students. So at that time, the student may feel bad. He feels that, oh my God, the teacher is very unfair to me, whatever. But actually, he has to realize that punishment is ultimately good for him, isn't it? Teacher is doing that for his own good. Similarly, parents will reward good behavior of the children, and they will chastise bad behavior. So children at that time don't understand that, but in fact, the parent is doing them a favor by not letting them become lazy and become habited to become lazy and ruin their life. So in this connection, there's a nice story that Prabhupada tells. Prabhupada was saying that one time there was this person whose parents had died apparently when he was young, so he was brought up by his aunt. But the aunt, because she was very merciful to him, she felt very sorry for him because he'd lost his parents at an early age. So because of that, she just let him do whatever he wanted to. She never chastised him. So this person, as he grew up, got into bad habits. Started off with lying. First of all, this is how it starts. You start to lie about things, then that leads to stealing. Then it leads to more serious kind of robbery kind of affairs. Then it leads to all kinds of drugs and murder and all that. So this boy, by the time he was like 19, 20 years old, he had done so much wrong, and he then had also murdered somebody, and he got caught. So he was sentenced to death. So Prabhupada says that at the time of sentencing, they said you will be hung. You will be hung. That was the punishment because you murdered. And then on the day of the hanging, in the morning, as is the usual custom, they asked him, "Do you have a last wish?" So he said, "Yes, I want to see my aunt. That's my last wish." They arranged for aunt to arrive. They brought her to the prison, and then he said, "Can you please just give me 2 minutes with her alone?" So they left them alone. And then he said to the aunt, "I want to say something to you in your ear. I want to whisper something to you in your ear." And then as the aunt thinks maybe he's going to give me some secrets about maybe some gold is hidden somewhere or whatever, right? So she lends the ear, and he goes close to the ear. And what does he do? Anybody know this story? What does he do?
I think he bit off.
He snatches
Bit his ear down.
He bit in the ear of the
He
auntie.
bit off the complete ear. He chewed the ear off of the auntie, and she's screaming in pain. And she said, why are you doing this to me? I have done nothing wrong. I have brought you. I never chastised you. I was always so kind to you. Why are you doing this to me? And you know what he said? He said, this is it. If you were not so kind to me, if you had corrected me when I was making mistakes when I was younger, I would not end up in this place, and I would not end up being hanged. So I blame you for my situation. So this is the situation that we have to realize that, you know, chastisement is good for us in the long term. Even as devotees, when senior devotees, sometimes when we are serving service, if somebody does just chastise us, we should take it with the right mood, and understand that ultimately, right now, it may feel wrong, it may feel unfair, but it is ultimately for my own good. If nothing else, it breeds humility. So it's 8:37. We will stop now, and I will invite any questions, any realizations. I'll just stop sharing this so I can see. So like we announced last week, we're not opening the WhatsApp group because we're getting some very undesirable messages coming from somewhere. So for that reason, we will take questions here on the chat box here. If you've got any questions, or of course you can speak now. But also you can just address your questions directly to one of us whenever you feel like it. So right now, anybody wants to make any comments?
Hare Krishna, Mukunda Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Balika Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much for glorifying the Mahamantra. It's so wonderful because this is the only thing is Kali Yuga, and we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came just to establish the Mahamantra. Also, he's, as everybody knows, and just Shiksha Ashtakam, he's written in 8 stanzas, which is in ISKCON and everywhere it's been explained. And I'm just listening at the moment to Shivram Maharaj. He's giving a detailed lectures. Just for the first verse, he's given 9 lectures. It's in detail of every sentence. How actually what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us these 8 slokas for us to reach at the actually just by chanting, pure chanting, we can go back to the spiritual world. And so he was also explaining that chanting the holy name and hearing is the most important thing. Now that's you also has glorified the hearing, how important it is, and hearing the holy name. If we can't hear those 108 times 16, we can hear everyone and we will be liberated. We'll reach to the prema stage. That's what he was explaining. So thank you very much for glorifying the holy name. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Balika Mataji, and thank you for sharing the teachings of Shivram Maharaj. Of course, Shivram Maharaj, and they have such taste for the holy name, so we can learn so much from them. So thank you. Yes, the idea is to try and hear every mantra that we chant. Devotee is difficult. I admit it to myself. I'm not able to focus that much. But yes, idea is to try and get into the habit of not letting the mind drift. Bring it back, and then grow more and more. You will be hearing the mantra.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I thought I would sharing. It is coming to the Holy Name Week.
Oh,
also.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think your class is very appropriate. Thank
Yeah.
you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Nitai Mata. Thank you so much. Yes, the Holy Name Week is coming. It's such a big event in the ISKCON calendar. But this time, of course, it's probably going to be on Zoom. Normally, so many people get together for that in so many centers. But here it'll be on Zoom. But I saw the leaflet It's some very, very nice programs and chanting, and lots of wonderful singers lined up. So yes, we should take advantage whenever we have time during the day, just link into the Zoom or whatever, YouTube or Facebook, and then connect to the holy name that way. Okay. So it's 8:40. I think we can call it a wrap unless somebody wants to say something. Anybody want to? Anybody who has not introduced themselves to the group? I've got the new Deepa. I've got here Deepa. Is it a new name? Or have you